Hello, everyone. Welcome to January 4th, 2026, uh, first of the year episode of the Truth Table. I'm Paul Everton. It's January 4th, Season 2, Episode 26. My guest is Brigitte Belton, the original initiator of the Freedom Convoy, who has just authored a book, and we will talk about it. It's linked in the description if you would like to purchase the book. It's a reasonable price, and it's firsthand. Today we're gonna get firsthand information from the inside, from the beginning, and get a perspective that many have not known. And I do look forward to our conversation today, right after this. Oh, welcome everybody. Let me see if I can get this right. It's been a long time. I've had vacation. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and a safe New Year's Eve. Um, Happy New Year's, John. For all the people that the Gregorian calendar, Pope Gregory people. I personally do and do not follow the Gregorian calendar. To me, like December represents the number 10, November 9. So all these things are still in place. We just, so like September is 7, October is 8, November is 9. So January is 11, and February is 12, March is 13, and New Year's Eve, I go by the full moon to try to stick true to the native calendar 13 months. So whenever you have a full moon, and like April's full moon is on the 1st, and this will end the year of the snake, where all the truth is being revealed, and this is a part of it. This show might even be over at that point because that's all I've been doing is revealing corruption from with almost within every institution, governmental institution, and we're getting past the stage of conspiracy theories and revealing all these things. People aren't surprised anymore; they're aware of it, and there's a lot of other podcasters that are doing exactly what I'm doing, revealing the truth, sharing. I've had nurses on that have been injured by the thing, and I've had doctors, I've had military men, police officers, and it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. It's like only the corrupt get promoted, and that way they ensure that their hold on power remains. I can understand that. It makes a lot of sense to me. Um, you know, you like the police have to think like a criminal to catch the criminal, but we almost have to think like a criminal to understand what's going on from their perspective of trying to keep a hold of their power. And we have corruption even in the band chiefs and the councils. I've had Patty on here, and she's going to come back on again to talk about the Jay Treaty. I've had Gordon, that the Nationalist Constitutional Reform Party. He's doing whatever he can. So there are people doing what they can, but this part of what we're going through is going to end because we're no longer going to need to be lifting the veil. The veil is being lifted, and we're all witnessing it, and we're digesting how horrible it is. Even in the food and the spraying from the air and the glyphosate in the forest, none of it makes any sense. But what's going to happen is after the year of the shedding, we are going to. Oh, hi, Patty. Patty's with us, and yeah, so we are going to be stepping into becoming who you're meant to be. Your divine purpose is going to be activated. Was no longer going to be talking about all the corruption and all the. It's going to be uh, a stage where we're going to be doing instead of just talking. And I look forward to that part because this is a hard part. It's like finding out your loved one is cheating on you. It can be devastating, and it's not easy. Now, the book we're talking about today is Consequences Inside the Freedom Convoy. And Justin Trudeau showed that he showed everyone about this totalitarian leadership that he has evoked, and Doug Ford loved it just as much as everyone else. Everyone in the provincial government voted for critical race theory. It was just totally anti-white to be thrusted on all the children. So they are there. They're in our schools. So I look forward to this conversation and to talk about her book. And welcome, Brigitte. Let me
Hi.
see if I got you on here. I do. I do. It's such an honor to have you here. You started, and some people have said, they would have continued to support the convoy if your initial plan was upheld. If it, because it got derailed and went off road. So, can you let everyone know what your initial plan was when this all began, and how you envisioned this freedom convoy?
Well, it was to be like the Work to Rule campaign of the CBSA. So it was to disrupt, but not close borders, not there was no closing borders. There was no closing off roadways. There was no parking in the streets of Ottawa. It was simply a work to rule campaign. We wouldn't have needed millions of dollars at that point. We would have just needed fuel in the tanks. So, I mean that we really didn't need millions of dollars. It's kind of nice if the truckers actually get it, but that's not my understanding where some expect it to go. Um, should it be released? I do know that while I was in a courtroom, uh, well, I was virtually in a courtroom, Tamara's lawyers had claimed it was for her and her movement, whatever that means. So I would like the truckers to get the money. I mean, it's their money. It was raised for them. It was raised on the backs of them. They were the ones who were unemployed for a year. They're the ones who have lost their trucks. They're the ones that have suffered mostly. And two people that were thrown into the spotlight have paid some dues, but we still have truckers that don't have a truck. We still have truckers that lost their investment, possibly lost their homes. Um, this is this is a lot bigger than the two of them and their legal fees. They need to understand that this money was raised for truckers and should absolutely 100% go to truckers. You don't have a CDL, you shouldn't be getting it.
Yeah, like how did the trans like because you were pushed out, were you not? They just like left you.
I was actually sent a message telling me that I was no longer allowed to speak
Oh,
for the convoy. I wasn't, or I would be included in a $3.2 million lawsuit. Barring the fact that my husband and I don't have $3.2 million, um, I mean, what are you going to do at that point? You're going to go, I don't have $3.2 million, you know? And then Tamara's social media went out and posted pictures of myself and others saying that we do not represent the Freedom Convoy when I was the founder, and Tamara was not even anywhere close to being original. She was a volunteer. She was just a volunteer who volunteered to handle the social media on Facebook and a fundraiser, an online fundraiser. Both Chris and I had said we did not know anything about crowdfunding online. And she said, don't worry, I've got you. I mean, she also sent me a message saying that she was working on my behalf. So I don't know how she got so off rails, but she did. So, I mean, I'm not here to bash Tamara. That's not the goal.
yeah,
Um,
I would
the
agree.
goal is that is the facts. I
Mhm.
have the receipts. If she'd like to use her new platform to have an interview, I am totally open, and we can get this stuff resolved. But I mean, she's used Derek Smith to put out statements against myself and Chad and BJ and Chris Guerra. She facilitated or helped in the facilitation of taking Chad Eros's job for almost a year, um, because he said something online she didn't like, or yeah, pretty much. So she reported him to his governing body as a CPA, and they had to do a full audit on him, and he finally did get his job back. But that is what he went to school for. He has 12 children and a wife, and she basically took his job the same way Trudeau took mine.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't know.
It's hard.
But again, I'm not here to bash Tamara. Just put out the receipts. That's what's there. It's
Yeah,
it's not a bash. I'm not bashing her.
yeah, it's true. I mean, we're definitely not here to attack anyone. We're just here to bring the truth forward, because once we have the truth, then we can move on. Because we have to become, we can't get lost in these rabbit holes. We just need the truth and just settle it in our minds and our hearts, forgive, and move forward. We don't want to get locked into turmoil and division. And that's not the purpose of this show. The purpose is to give you the truth, and it's in a book, and you can read it firsthand. But you
This
were
part
basically
actually
threatened.
isn't in the book.
Yeah, and
There's nothing about Tamara
oh yeah.
in the book because this is a series, and this series stops at a certain point, and Tamara is not in there yet.
Hmm.
So
Oh.
the reason I did it as a series was due to legal issues. I am still fighting $460 million. And the next book will be a manual of what happened in Ottawa
Hmm.
with the convoy, the supporters, the love. It was originally the my original book was going to be called Letters from Canada, and that it was all of them, but I couldn't find a way to put it out in a proper form that kind of really did resonate on what was happening at the time. So instead, I decided to write an actual book, which I thought, oh my goodness,
Hmm.
I'm not a great writer with English language, and I had to get a lot of help, so I did, and we did book one. Book two is almost three times the size of book one, and it's a manual. It's literally a manual of what happened.
Hmm.
So, and she's not in here. There's no Tamara Leach because there was no Tamara Leach in the beginning.
Hmm.
We talk about in this book about 100 years of history within Canada. So Tamara Leach isn't 100 years old, so she's not involved in that. She's not involved prior to when she entered, about 12 days after the conception.
Hmm.
Um, and she has nothing to do with what I'm trying to show people, the psychological effects of COVID, the fallout of COVID, um, bad advertising, and fake heroes. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody knows who Rosa Parks is. Do you know who Rosa Parks is?
Yes, yes. And I don't want anyone to, have idols. We got to stop doing that. We don't need idols. You are the divine spirit. You are the one. You're the one that's going to save us. We all have a purpose, and we just have to find out what that purpose is. Like Patty, she's going to be coming back on the show, and she's going to, help people understand the J Treaty and how that binds us as a country. And we want solutions, and we want to inspire. We don't want to tear down anymore. We want to inspire. And sometimes it seems like people are being tear down, but you were threatened with a $3 million lawsuit that would have destroyed your future. You know, that's brutal. But this is what we saw with the convoy and the threats. Even Doug Ford loved it. He's a bully. He's unfit to
They're all
govern.
bullies.
He's.
All bullies. I mean, Tamara Leach bullied me. Chris Barber's bullied me, and he created an online gang to bully me and others. I mean, it's not just me. It's there's a list of people that these
Mhm.
people bully. It's not just
Yeah.
me. Um,
So
and
we're not attacking
yeah,
the attackers. They're the ones
it's
attacking.
yeah.
And
Well, you
I've
can tell
heard
the truth.
and I've heard her book is just full of, misinformation, disinformation. And I hate using those
Well,
words, but
if she told everybody who I was, why was it almost 6 months to a year later that people that were right beside her through Ottawa didn't know who I was?
mm,
And why did Tom Quiggins look at her on the 29th of January and said, "This is all because of you"? And she said nothing. So, I mean, she can write whatever she wants,
yeah,
I guess.
yep.
Um, but it's not the truth. So,
Yeah, and I mean, we have to be careful about defamation as well. If she committed defamation, then you have grounds to
oh,
sue.
several times.
Yeah, so and it's a shame. I mean, she was part of the Maverick Party, which their intent was to divide Canada. So I mean, divide was in her story before the convoy.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got, her backers like Ezra Levant and, Keith Wilson, who lied on the stand at the POEC. I mean, some of those back messages that will come out um, between myself and Jane and Brandon Miller. I mean, they're just going to be fantastic. People are going to look at those messages and go, wow, wow. Um, they're just not going to believe it. I mean, the series is going to build up, but we had to get book one out first. Um, and it's going to explode from here. I mean, it just gets more exciting. Right now, we're excited with book one.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, we had to release it strategically due to legal issues that I'm still facing.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I can't. I was going to screen share um, the book, but I am not able to do it because you're in my screen share. That was the only way to get you on here, and that happens with mobiles a lot. But I was able to get this stream, um, started, and I like it so far. I like the backgrounds and everything. Um, now, so you initially started this, and your plan was totally different than what actually happened. So you wouldn't have had the trucks on the streets in front of Parliament. Is that true?
That's true. And even when the plan was to go to Ottawa, I kept telling James, we don't have enough parking. I was seeing how it was growing, and I said, we need parking. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have enough parking. And I was ensured that there was parking for every truck. I've heard James come out and say, oh, well, they were willing to take a parking ticket. Nobody had said that to me. Nobody had talked to me about people getting parking tickets. I was told everybody was going to park underground. I understood they were going to pay for parking. I understood the rigs were going to park at a local park. None of that happened. I was like, really? They, he had told me that they had actually plowed out the parks for him the last time he went to Ottawa. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where they parked the last time. And I didn't really know much about United We Roll or whatever the oil and gas thing was. But again, I put my faith and trust in people, and they continuously let me down and lied to me. So I, I believed they were good. I believed they had the permits they said they had. Um, I was in shock. Who thought you needed a permit to protest? Why would I get a permit to
Mm-hmm.
protest? Why am I telling them I'm coming? I had no idea you needed one of those. Um, I learned a lot,
Yeah.
and I learned, what not to do in a grassroots movement.
Yeah, Patty, you don't have to post the link. It's in the description for the book.
Thank you, Patty.
I mean, she was going to post it on the comments, but you don't have to, Patty. Is there? Um, yeah. So your idea would have been a little more. It was wiser because what happened gave the government an opportunity to complain, and they have all their leftist army. They really do. Like all the people they're bringing into our country are all leftists. They like the left. Islam likes the left.
Well, because they give them free stuff,
And more than they
right?
give our own people, even our
Yes.
disabled, they get way more money. This to me, this is ISIS. This is what we were paying when they were Al Qaeda and ISIS. And this is the same money. We're bringing them here now because we've conquered other countries already, and they did it with our money based on lies. So we're used to the lies, and but it's not going to be a secret anymore. The snake is shedding its skin, so it's going to be difficult, but it's a necessary evil. We have to shed the skin. We have to let go of it, and we have to be proactive because we all have a divine purpose. We're not here to wait for Jesus to save you. That's not going to happen. You are the one. You're the one. You are the chosen one. You know, well, that's a whole nother show altogether. But I do have religious studies, and I also just released a book, uh, a series as well. So we kind of have that in common, where we're both authors, and I think that's cool. Mine is fake though. It's fiction. It's not real, and yours is real, and important for people that don't know what happened. And your way would have actually been more productive. They wouldn't have.
Well, that's what it seems like the consensus is. People that have said they didn't. So, sorry, there's, and we're gonna have some barking probably because Mac's looking out the window at two dogs. Um, but yeah, I knew it.
There it comes.
um, yeah, he's like, I see doggies. But yeah, so the Mac, no. Uh, the people that are responding to the book are wow, had it gone the way she had planned, I would have supported it.
Yeah.
And that's, that's good for me to hear, because
Hmm.
it was based on solid research. It was based on a solid idea. It was based to be not, overly disruptive. It was disruptive. It would have been from one side of the country to the other in unison,
Hmm.
unity, showing that all Canadians were enough with the mandates, right? That we weren't taking that anymore, that the working class was standing up, and we were standing up for our rights of bodily autonomy.
Yes.
You cannot demand that we inject ourselves with some sort of chemical makeup by a pharmaceutical company.
And now we
The
know,
company is for profit.
but they lied that it doesn't spread. They overcycled the PCR so they get false positives, and then they announced it daily to scare people. It to me, this is a crime of the century to medically intervene. They don't even consider them humans anymore. They have a new classification without sacred bodily autonomy. So that was stolen through this medical intervention, through patents and just illegal, legally. They have stolen the sovereignty of all these people. And this is what the fight was all about, bodily autonomy.
I mean, they've started, the pharmaceutical companies have been programming
Yes.
us for years.
Yes.
In the 1950s, they told us, you know, smoke a cigarette, smoke these ones.
Yep.
It's doctor recommended.
Hmm.
Do you think you'd go to your doctor today and he'd recommend that you smoke a cigarette? I think he wouldn't.
Well,
most, I know when I go, my doctor says you need to quit,
but everything
right?
everything the government touches, they ruin because they added chemicals to the tobacco. Tobacco is a medicine for me. I mean, I'm a Micmac, so this is a medicine. This is ceremonial stuff. This isn't and we don't put chemicals in our tobacco, you know, and
Right.
it deflects COVID like a superhero, with it
That
is
maybe why I didn't
medicinal,
get sick.
and it's a medicine. It should be utilized. It shouldn't be chemical. But everything they've touched, they've done this. They've done this with our food. They poisoned our children's food. So these people are incompetent, and they don't have any moral high ground to judge what is true and what is lie after what they've done to us. And I don't want any amnesty. I don't. This is not a forgive and forget thing. This is not a turn your cheek. This is a crime against us on everything, from food to air to water. Everything they've done has shown disdain for us and our abilities as God's children to become, what we were intended to become. And this is where the needles come in with children. They stunt that ability. Adding DNA, when someone gets a transplant, they'll find themselves craving food they never craved before because it was the other person that was craving it. And I've seen many cases where people are eating things they would never eat before, just to show that DNA changed who they were. That heart transplant, or that part of another person. And this is why it disturbs me so much with the DNA in the vaccines. And even the veterinarians, they're putting this spreadable shedding into the animal vaccines. So it goes to you, so it spreads to you. They just want everyone to get this mRNA no matter what. They're obsessed with it because it's a part of their control grid to be able to control us frequencies and electronics, to use that to make us happy and own nothing. It really is. They're saying it to us, what their plan is. 2030, you're going to be happy. So they're giving us a timeline to wake up and be proactive. And unifying is the thing they're afraid of. They don't want us to unify. They want us divided. And our goal right now is to unify, not to divide. And
Well, and you can already see that in the book release. We were sitting at number one, top new release,
Oh, really?
almost in every category. And then they started with the because the book is getting traction, people like it.
That's great.
Consequences is the story they've never heard, and it was getting a lot of traction. And so, the powers that be decide to do a review bomb.
Yeah.
So that was put in there. It's being fought. Then they, other books get pushed up. There's also the halo effect of my book, which means that Convoy is now back in conversation. I'm boosting Donna and BJ's book right back up into top number one spots. And I are sharing in several categories. She's selling bestseller, and I'm selling as best hot new release, trending release, in the same category. So we're both number one in the same category. I'm just new and she's overall. So it's fantastic what Consequences has done for the other authors. And we're slaying the giant at the same time with this book, because we're outselling all the WFE authors in our categories. We're outselling all the political class authors. So the Mark Carneys, the Trudeaus, the Christiana Freelands, and that one is sweet since she took my bank account. So, I mean, this book is doing so well. It's starting to bridge a huge gap that we have right now, and that's the gap between the left and the right. That is the gap we need to work on. We need to work on the left and the right, because we will never be unified. We will never achieve success until we learn how to speak to each other on both sides of the aisle, understand that the way we think is important on both sides of the aisle, but understand we need to live under conditions that are optimal for human life on both sides. So once we decide that life is optimal this way, and these are the parameters we want to follow. It doesn't matter if you're left or right. It doesn't matter what your political field is, because that's our decision, right? And we'll bring everybody together that way. So, and social media has just become this big plague of negativity. You want to be called a name every day, just go on social media. I mean,
Yes.
we also have to curb that. And I've been working really hard to try and curb that, even in myself, because, people get you so hot under the collar while you're responding. Sometimes you really just have to put the phone away, go do something else and come back. And find a nicer way to say, hey, buddy, just leave me alone.
Yeah, even
Mac,
I can
you got to get
triggered.
off my chair.
Even I can get triggered with that post that you had there. I'm not going to mention any names, but
Right. Yes.
telling you what you should do is not how we're going to unite. That's for sure. But that's because I care.
Yeah, and I can't give free books. I'm sorry, they cost a lot of money
like
for me to get this far.
Yeah.
I had to buy my own book.
Someone has to cut the tree down and slice it into paper. Then we need the ink.
Well, and I've got to deliver it. So
It's just insane. Yeah, it just I think it's just a lot of people are emotionally driven, and it can create a storm where there shouldn't be one. And our goal is really to inform and unite. This is the year of exposure, and I don't think anyone that watches my podcast is surprised anymore, because I've had the right people come on and tell their side firsthand, and that's the only way to do it, firsthand. We don't want rumors, and that's not our goal. Our goal is to get the perspective of the person on the inside, what it was like for them, and trying to find answers. Like with Gordon, he's trying to find answers, remedy to save our country. And he's very close. I think he's just not going far back enough. Like in I have it written down all the information, but Queen Victoria gave the provinces control over Canada. Once she died, that was her thing. That give back, this country sovereignty to the provinces. And then the federal government, without the authority, rejoined um, King George, Queen Elizabeth's father. And they didn't have the power to do that. They didn't have the consent of the Canadians. But it goes further than that. Unfortunately, he is right about that. But even she didn't have the power to do that. We have to go back to 1603, where so everything that's happened since 1603 is illegitimate. The king is illegitimate. I mean, what king changes their last name to hide their German roots? I mean, right off the bat, you're changing your name. You're being deceptive. If you're meant to be there, ordained by God, like King David, then you don't have to change your name. I mean, it's obvious at this point how we've been fooled for so long. Oh, is it 1703? It's yes. 1763 proclamation, yes. So we have to go back to 1603, and then we realize all of it, everything after that, doesn't work. Like it's not legitimate. But you did try. You did try, and what you did was, we're not trying to make an idol out of you. That's not what we want to do. We want to just, because you're just one of the people that cared enough to want to try to do something about this situation. And this invasion, this physical bodily autonomy invasion with this experiment. And to me, it's not an experiment. They knew damn well what it did way before we even heard about it. It was made way before any alarm bells went off. It was there sitting waiting for the right moment, and that's what they did. I think your dog likes me. Like back there. I see you. I see you, buddy.
He's back there and he's like, Mom, I want to go back out OUT. And I'm like, dude, we are on a podcast. We're not just like walking off the show so you can go outside right now.
Thing.
But he's been a bug. Yeah, he had to work hard today, and he didn't get a lot of time. So he's like, just, Mom, hurry up, stop talking. But I've tried everything. I've given him treats. I've given him water. He's got everything he could possibly want. But now he wants Mom's attention. So that's part of trucking, right? So, but no, I'm not a star. Let tomorrow be the star, right? I'm the trucker. Yeah. I'm the people. I'm the grassroots. And stars eventually burn out. So I don't want to be a star.
Yeah, I'm not a star either. And, that was never my goal. Fame. And I even, actually, I'm probably the only podcaster that likes that I have low numbers. Because I know if my numbers are too high, that they're going to come after me. Because after all this time, I know how my enemy works. Our enemy is the same enemy. And it goes really far back. Not just, COVID. This has been going on for a very long time. And it is a war against, God's children, mankind. And it's going
I
to
just
end.
Picked it up when it started to affect me. I'm not like, I'm like every other Canadian, right? We don't speak up. We don't stand up until it affects us. There are a lot of issues on the table that I have an opinion on. There's a lot of stuff that you're even talking about that I have no idea about. And I'm not even going to pretend I have an idea about them, because I don't. And am I upset with my government? Sure. Am I upset with the way they do things? Sometimes, not all the time. Have I had any big outbursts about Mark Carney? No. Other than the fact that right now he's hurting my job, just like Trudeau, with the whole thing with the U.S. I mean, like, let's just be friends, get it done and over with, figure out a solution, and let's move on. But this whole, elbows up and Doug Ford, you know, uh, poking at Trump, that's not productive.
No.
It's not productive for the Canadian people. These are our largest trading partners. And
Yeah.
if they decided to close the border tomorrow, we would suffer. Our produce would be done for the winter months. We'd have no fresh oranges. We don't even get bananas. Bananas come out of the ports in New Jersey. So
Mhm.
if they just shut down the trucking between Canada and US and said that's it, your trucks don't cross anymore, I don't see anybody getting in their car and heading to Florida to go pick up a bag of oranges, right?
Yeah.
So it my problems are more industrial with the job that I do, and keeping food on the table has become even harder since COVID. It's been an ongoing struggle since we lost our positions and had to fight to work. So, I mean, if I'm going to look at problems and solutions right now, my biggest ones are getting the trucking industry back to where it needs to be, finding parking for truckers, making sure that brokers don't steal money from truckers, making sure that the governments deregulate on a whole lot of stuff,
Yes.
and and making sure that we lessen the amount that shippers and receivers actually pay, so that we have to take out the middlemen like the brokers. You look at the brokers, and you've got TQL and CH Robinson, record numbers, record numbers. They're making billions of dollars. Well, the trucker driving the loads can't pay rent. That is an issue that needs to be solved,
Yeah.
right? So I'd be looking there. The homelessness in Canada is out of control.
Yeah.
We could solve this.
Yes.
Every building that a landlord is refusing to rent, hasn't rented, won't redo, we just take it. Okay?
Mhm.
If you're an out of country landlord, you're from Saudi Arabia, whatever, and here's your property and you're not taking care of it, that's fine. We're going to fine you, we'll fine you, we'll fine you, and then we'll take the property and we'll make it a homeless shelter. Like, there are solutions.
Yep.
Yes, Mac, there are solutions, but we're either too ignorant to do it or too scared to do it. I mean, I don't know. If a Saudi prince owns a building and it's not being used in Canada, that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
He's a Saudi prince. He's got people waiting on him hand and foot.
Yep.
Owns a piece of property in Canada, and we've got people on the street. The other thing is, we need to gather up all the people that their visas are expired. They need to go home. I'm sorry, you came in the wrong way. You didn't come in the right way.
Yes.
Sorry about your luck. You need to go. We cannot afford you. We cannot house people that are here on illegal visas. They got to go. This is part of our problem.
Yeah.
Our medical system
I think my
is being, eaten up by these people. So we have a lot of issues
yes.
that we can solve. Grassroots, though. Let's start doing some grassroots initiative. One of the biggest things we can do right now is, this book is real. Excuse me. The book is real. The material is solid. It talks about 100 years of Canadian history, talks about how governments, deceive us. If we want to start gaining our country back, we start making sure this book and the other Convoy books go into the libraries across the country.
Mm-hmm.
That gives people that can't afford to buy the book access to the book.
Yep.
That also gives our book the same rights as an LGBTQ book. Yes, Mac, I see you. An LGBT book, or a Black Lives Matter book, or whatever other approved government reading material is out there. We can get this into the hands of everyone else. We can get the other Convoy books into the libraries. They'll do a display. They'll even have us come in and talk. This would allow future generations to know history, the last 100 years of history, through Consequences inside the Freedom Convoy. We've got Donna, who does a wonderful job at representing the truckers that were there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got BJ's book, that's a really nice, cute little book. and has some really great stories in it. So get the books into the libraries. I'm begging everybody that's listening today, go to your library, request they get a copy. Some places you have to have a library card, other places you can just put in a request. Once this book is in the libraries, our history is there forever. They will not take it out.
That's a great idea, Patty. She said maybe one day we could do a live storytelling, reading a few pages to plant the seeds. Yeah, I think we could definitely do that. I also want to thank everybody who's here, Brenda, Robbie. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your comments. And if you like, we could take a short break, and Max can go do number one and number two, and I could bring.
That would probably be good for him.
Yeah, I can feel the pressure building here.
I know
He's
he's
like,
standing on my
yeah,
seat,
he's
and it
going, mommy,
pushes me
mommy,
down every time.
911, mommy, 911. Yeah, so we'll take a short break,
Yeah,
and for Max, we'll do it for Max, and then we'll break back on. Let's see if I can perhaps find. What did I do here? Well, that didn't work. Uh oh. The powers that be have frozen me. Okay, let's see here. So I'm gonna let her go. Bring her puppy to the bath.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
That was a little break for Max. Poor Max. All right, I'm going to talk about the consequences of Justin Trudeau's totalitarian leadership will soon be revealed. Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party, along with their allies, such as Doug Ford, who seems to love the Liberals. I thought they were supposed to be enemies. But this whole thing showed that they're not, that they are on the same team. They're playing, it's all the same bird. We've got a left wing, the right wing, we got the feet, we've got the beak, the NDP, the Green, they're all the same. There's really no differentiation. And the Canadian people will find themselves in a fragmented nation. The Liberal Party often claims to promote inclusion and diversity, yet in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic brought all parties together in a way that fostered hate, segregation, and discrimination in the most disgusting manner. No matter which side you were on, the way people were treated was unacceptable. The idea that the government was no longer tolerating people's freedom was a clear message. The government was not serving the people, but rather destroying the very fabric in which the country was built. Brigitte takes you through life as a trucker during the pandemic, the plight of truckers who supported citizens during unprecedented times. Truckers are accustomed to being disregarded or treated like second class citizens, but the unexpected shift from being seen as heroes on the front lines to being treated like criminals without precautions or protection against COVID 19 was an emotional ride for all involved. This journey that united Canadians has never been fully told by the leadership of the convoy. Through this story, you'll get a first hand look at the consequences that led Brigitte, the driver of Daddy's Little Monster, to stand as a voice for those who couldn't and amplified the voices of those who were unheard. And this is just a breakdown of the book now available. It's in the description. Consequences inside the Freedom Convoy. And I think Max is probably feeling a lot better and relieved. We love you, Max. We wouldn't we wouldn't want you to explode in the truck. All right. Has he done his thing? And it is a boy, right?
Yeah, it's Mac, like the truck.
Mac.
M-A-C-K.
Right on.
Mac. Yeah. Yeah. He's looking for that last spot. Hurry up, buddy.
So everyone,
Not like we're on a time crunch.
no, we're not on a time crunch at all. And I have the gift of gab. That's probably how I ended up doing this. But I think I do. I'm like you in a sense where, I'm doing this not as a career opportunity, but because I care. I mean, you did what you did because you care. You care about your fellow man, and I understand that I could have people knocking on my door at any point just for saying something, that isn't what a narrative, but awareness it's in itself won't set us free. Okay, we have to understand that this show is revealing things, but this is not what's going to set you free. Conscious creator. You're a conscious co-creator. You are that you're going to become and move towards our divine mission, and we all have it. This is my divine mission, this is hard. Bridget's divine mission, because we do care about our fellow man. We want solutions. To me, it's all easy. Education's easy to fix. Getting the crap out of the food is easy to fix. Just get rid of the GMO and all these 13-letter, ingredients in our food that no one knows what it is. We want to stop companies from saying natural when it's not natural. We want Campbell's Soup to stop 3D printing the chicken. We want real chicken. If there's a food crisis, then stop killing the chickens. If we're going to die from it, fine. I would rather die from it than you calling all the food supply. Our government is unfit, but they have shown themselves as our enemy. So what we have to do is be wise and stand in our truth. And, okay, we have this situation here. We have a government that doesn't serve us, but they're probably compromised. So we have to put ourselves in their shoes. Maybe they're under threat. Maybe they're...
I can't hear you right now.
Oh, no. Can you hear me now?
No.
Oh, shoot. I hope... Can you guys hear me at home? Let me check.
I don't. It's your mic, I think, because you were clear and then you were gone.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, they do that to me all the time.
Oh, gone again.
Oh, those son of a guns.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so they like to mess with me. I'll have to... So I don't know how much everyone heard. See, I think they're messing with me. I think they shut off my microphone. Oh, he's going to say it again. Turn him off. Canada is a free country. That's how the government looks at it. No, but I think the government is compromised, probably under threat. They probably are on, well, from what I heard, Diddy, P. Diddy, Badaddy has a video on Justin Trudeau, so that doesn't surprise me. But I don't even care. doesn't even matter. He's still a tyrant. He still betrayed his country like his father. Uh, the Bank of Canada used to give.
Yeah, I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what I lived. I know the experience that I experienced.
Yep.
I know the experience that other people were experiencing that I didn't know. I thought I was all alone, and it turns out I wasn't. There ended up being 1.5 million people in Canada that showed up apparently at Convoy. They were jabbed, they were unjabbed, but they all agreed that the government had gone too far. So we do know that when we get together and we get together for a cause that everybody is passionate about, we can make change. We can draw a line in the sand. It wasn't long after that where things started to kind of drop. We're still not back to normal. Not through the economy. We're still suffering huge. I know a lot of people are suffering in the economy and the fallout. This fallout is directly related to the COVID mandates. It's directly. You cannot bring back stuff that you destroyed, and that was, I watch. Oh, we've created so many jobs in the trucking industry alone since COVID. We're losing 1,500 companies, small companies, mom and pop companies, companies that have been around for 90
Per
years
week.
every month.
Oh, per month. Okay.
50 per month. So that's a lot of trucking companies. That's a lot of employees.
Yep.
And, we had an effect in Canada. Leanne Rood actually had said this in committee that it was between 10 and 30% of truckers who were sidelined. Now, if we're sidelined 10 to 30%, every other industry is affected. Why? We take your goods and services. We bring them to where they're going. Your hospitals, are there shortages? Were there shortages? Are there going to be shortages? There absolutely is. It's coming. You need to be prepared. You need to have supplies on hand, because as these, and it's Royal Bank is helping drop some of these companies. They are calling in loans. Okay. So these companies are failing because the Royal Bank and other bankers are calling in loans now. Right. So the trucking industry, when it goes down, that's going to be a huge, it's going to affect everybody. The other thing that's happening now is the larger companies are swallowing up some of the little ones and taking those employees. So what that's going to do is it's going to create mass moguls like Bell Canada. You're going to end up paying more for service. They talked about this. Schneider, the company I started with, talked about this when I first joined trucking, how their idea was they take cheap freight to keep drivers moving, as long as in the end their goal was to manipulate the industry towards them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, back then I was like, well, that's great. I've got a job. Now as an independent owner operator, I'm going, wait a second. That means you want to get rid of people like me.
Yeah.
And they're really trying, because they're offering loads at, $1.86. TQL frequently offers loads at 89 cents and 25 cents a mile. And the operating costs on average are $2.26 with maintenance and driver fees and insurance premiums and all the stuff that goes with trucking. And we're at $2.26, and they're offering 89 cents, 25 cents, $1.35. It's gross what they're doing.
Destruction by design.
And the truckers are not. They're not. There's so much in trucking that I can talk about for hours, but they're not getting numeration for what they do. So you're cleaning a truck, you don't get paid for that. You're cleaning a trailer, you don't get paid for that. You're away from home for 10 days on the road. For all those nights, you don't get to see your wife. You don't kiss your children goodnight. The Christmases, the birthdays, the anniversaries, all those things you miss, because that's trucking. And it's not just Well, you chose that. None of us chose that. We were told a lie when we got into this industry. It's great. You're going to make lots of money. No.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
I mean, you talk about, well, we knew what we were getting into. We had no idea. At least I didn't. I remember the first year being so hard. I cried. I couldn't be a mom to my kids anymore. Was one went into hospital. I said, I need to go home. And Schneider told me no. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
They're,
okay. Um,
to me,
so
they
yeah,
want
and
to.
my father died my first year on the road as well. That was really hard.
It's all deliberate, and they keep needing more money, keep going in deficits. I mean, they're robbing and pillaging. They're being criminal, and with trucking is such an essential service to get supplies and products. From here to there.
Seriously, dude.
They got the license renewals, wage inflation, fuel costs, maintenance. They're just
Toll
choking
roads.
everyone. They're
You
choking.
want to solve the GTA? No, I can. I here, Doug Ford. Here's the best idea you can ever come up with. You can steal it. Okay, you can absolutely have it, Doug Ford. Take all the trucks off the 401. Let them use the 407, right?
Yeah.
For free. Let the trucks use it for free, right? You will declutter
Yep.
the GTA.
Yeah.
You will have become the best premier ever. Then instead of building a tunnel underneath the 401 that I would never ever use, I'd be afraid of drowning in that thing
Hmm.
because they can't move water properly anyway.
Yeah.
Um, you can work on out up north where we
Hmm.
don't have any services as truckers. There is 200, 300 miles before you get a rest area. It's ridiculous. There's no truck stops up there. And if there are, they're old, they're full of mold. I mean, you want to shower with mold? I don't want to shower with mold, but that's
Hmm.
what you get up there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so much they can do and they choose not to.
Yeah. And to me, it's all easy. It's all easy fixing. Regulate the food
We don't
supply.
need studies.
Get a pipeline going west coast to east coast. It's very simple. And refine our own bitumen, so we can drop that
We
price.
can't.
Don't we have?
We agreed with the US not to build any new
I mean,
refineries.
can you believe that? Like, what an absolutely betrayal of Canadians.
That was the PC government. That was Harper that did that.
And then we have the milk and dairy cartel. What the
Yeah, you
hell?
got to dump the milk in the fields. Yeah,
Dump your milk
it
out.
happens. I've seen it.
It is absolutely a disgrace, and
Yeah.
it's got to change. And I think that's where we're heading. I think this is the year. The year ending to me is April 1st, and that's why they call it Fool's Day, because they fooled us and they keep fooling us. But they're not going to fool us anymore, because we're waking up, and you're a part of that. I'm a part of that. Patty's a part of that. All our friends here are a part of it. Our whistleblowers. And we may, if we're not successful, I think we will be. But if we're not successful, we can all go on Kirk Reese's boat and head out to Gilligan's Island
Apparently, yeah.
and start from scratch, because they're destroying everything. They really are. We could do so much better.
Well, I mean, right now you've got Alberta pushing to be the 51st state, and I'm sorry, Alberta, but I don't want to pay $1,500 a month for my husband and myself to have health care. That's something I don't want to do.
Mm.
It's the top reason I don't want to be American. My health care might not be 100% and, the best in the world, but I don't have to worry if I'm going to make the decision that my husband gets his diabetic medications this month. So I don't want that issue on the table. If Alberta wants to deal with that, then Alberta can deal with that. But
Yeah.
I'd prefer not to.
Yeah.
And if we're patriots and we really love our country, it keeping it together, not tearing it apart.
Yeah.
So you look at all the people that were at Convoy
Hmm.
who are now involved in 51st State, and you're like, well, I thought you said you were a patriot. That would
Yeah.
be a patriot of Canada, not a patriot of Alberta.
Yes. And as far as Alberta, my own personal view is don't join with the United States for the reason you said, plus a lot of other reasons. The CIA and the wars, perpetual, forever wars, for oil, and they're stealing all these resources and not sharing. They're not sharing the spoils. No one's life got better except the criminals that stole our money to do the war. But with Alberta, I would like to see it become sovereign, separate from the federal government, not Canada, but to remain in Canada as a
Who's going to
sovereign.
protect them?
Like with Queen Victoria, what she did, she gave the provinces power over, sovereignty, so they became their
That's a
own
great
countries.
idea. But if they're a country within our country,
Hmm.
here's the thing. Who's going to protect them? They're not paying
That's
tax to Canada anymore.
that's
So we don't protect them.
exactly.
And the biggest problem is that
Mm,
we just saw Trump go to Venezuela for their oil. What does Alberta have? Oil.
yep.
What is the U.S. going to do? They're going to go and take Alberta. Great, you're sovereign. Now you're American
Yep.
because we want your oil
Yep.
and we don't trust your leadership. So
Yeah.
by them even claiming sovereignty, they're putting themselves in a very risky situation,
It's true.
and they're already talking with the U.S. That right there shows you that someone in the background is already planning
Yes.
the takeover of Alberta once they reach sovereignty. So
Yeah.
we have to look 20 steps ahead of the elites, ahead of the WEF,
Hmm.
ahead of the political spectrum, because if we don't, we're going to put ourselves into the situation. I talk about this in the book. Look, had I said no here, had I said no here, had we not said no to certain things that were going on for COVID, it would have not got to the point where we were all losing our jobs, where we're all being sent home, where we're all being taken off EI. Um, these problems, because we said it's just a minor inconvenience, we allowed it to happen. We got to start saying no to the minor inconvenience. The U.S. now is going penniless. Here's how we solve that. I've had this solution forever. You want Canada and U.S. to go back to the penny? Go pay cash. Your bill is $99.92, right? That's in your favor, so you just pay it. 90 cents, right?
Hmm.
If it's not in your favor, because it goes 3 cents the other way, right? So if it's not in your favor, you pay all of it in cash until you get to the 93 cents where they're going to bump it up to 95, right? You pay that on your debit. Why? They pay 3% on that.
Hmm.
Now the companies, the corporations are losing money. If the corporations start losing money because they're paying the 3% on the charge and you've given them cash and then you pay the rest, they're getting the message. They're
Hmm.
getting the message.
Yeah, as soon as a country tries to free themselves from the banking cartel, I mean, they get accused of poisoning their people and just lies and lies and lies. And I'm seeing it over and over again, and things are coming out, recordings of these leaders telling us about this and, you know, revealing what's going on. So if Canada frees itself, we're going to have to deal with these people, and false accusations.
For every bad person, there is 100 more waiting.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get, the worst thing we do is we keep re-electing the elites. We elect the politicians.
Hmm.
Why are we electing not Farmer Joe Brown from down the road, who we know has some really good ideas? Instead, we're electing people that have been in office that live off our dime.
Yeah. Yep.
Pierre Poilievre lives in essentially public housing, except his public house, paid for by the taxpayer,
Hmm.
is far nicer than a citizen who pays taxes lives in when they're in public housing. They have to deal usually with cockroaches and gang violence and
Yeah.
other things.
Yep.
He's got a mansion,
Yep.
right? So does Carney. And every time we switch prime minister, they're like, oh, decorate it the way you want at the cost of the taxpayer. Enough. We need to stop these things. No, you want to decorate, Parliament Hill? Decorate it, but pay for it. We're paying you. You have a salary.
Yeah.
Nobody pays for me to decorate my house.
Hmm.
Nobody, right? We need to take them off their pedestals. That's what we need to do. We need to work together as grassroots, take things down each and every time. We know these elite politicians have been given blanket immunity.
Yeah.
As soon as they become an MP, they have immunity. There's nothing we can do to them as long as they're working on behalf of the Canadian government and they say they're people. But, we have to start holding feet to the fire. You need to start going and showing up at your MP's office when things don't work out. We need people to actually sit there and explain some of the bills to us. I don't understand them. Some of them I don't understand. I was not a political person before they took my job. Before they came for my family. There are 3 things you do not do. You don't come at my family, you don't touch my money, and you don't come after me. Those are the 3, 3 things don't do. If you don't want me to be upset and to say something, those are the 3 things you don't do.
And I won't.
They did all 3.
And I won't tell you what Max is doing to your pillow right now. I'm just kidding. No,
He's on
I'm
the
not
floor.
going to
That's
tell
not
you.
nice.
It's
Good boy. He settled down.
yeah.
No,
I'm
that's
just
his
playing
bear
with
back
you.
there.
I'm just playing with you. I like to make it light once in a while, because it is hard. It's hard to deal with, and we need to show that we're still human, and we, that this is all in love, and we do want solutions. But like I've been saying for a long time, if we free our country, we're gonna have to deal with all these people. We're gonna have the CIA come in here and start, making counter protests, out of thin air like they did in Iran in 1953. I mean, they're good at it. They know what they're doing, and now that we find out all
It's a total different world
it's
now.
a different
It's not
world.
even the CIA doing the 1953.
Yeah.
It's the Joseph Burgos of this world
Yep.
who can afford to call up a company and say, hey, how much is it going to cost me to counter protest
Yep.
Freedom Convoy?
$300 a piece.
I talk about this. I talk about this in my book. You can actually get paid every
Yep.
day to protest. I never believed it. Never, ever, ever. I was driving after Convoy. I had a run up to, I think it was Cornwall or Ottawa area.
Hmm.
And I stopped in Mallory Town. And there's this bus, a whole bunch of people getting off, and old guy standing there. And I'm like, striking up a conversation. So, where are you off today? Oh, I'm off to Ottawa to go protest. And I'm like, what's going on? He goes, oh, we're going to go protest for Palestine. And I'm like, I'm looking at this guy. He's an older white dude, grandpa, maybe in his 70s. And I said, why would you do that? He goes, they pay me to do it.
Yep.
I hold a sign. They pay for my ride from Toronto. They pay for my hotel room for the night. They pay for me to come back, and they pay my meals.
And the truth of it is,
And I'm
we're
like,
we're
you're
paying for
kidding
it.
me. He goes, no, I need money.
But they're using our money. That's the thing. It's all
They are.
theft.
Well, sometimes it's not through the government.
Yeah, it can't.
Sometimes it's an NDA.
Yep.
Sometimes.
That's true.
Sometimes it's a special interest group like the Freedom Corp that would
George
pay
Soros,
for that,
yes.
or a George Soros, or a BLM,
Mhm.
or an LGBTQ. And they'll tell you could go check in at this table. You need to look like this when you get there. This is what you need to do when you get there. And they hope that some of these people are rebels and wear black stuff and break stuff up. We know from the riots in Minnesota that they actually left stuff there for people to actually use, like Acme Brick Company that was owned by politicians, right?
Mm.
So that's the story anyway from a couple of black gentlemen that have a podcast that I listen to quite frequently, and their name is escaping me, but they're pretty good. But this is all talked about in the book. Almost everything we've touched on, and as far as government and stuff, that's really not my forte. It's what happened during COVID, the 100 years of research that I could back up ideas
Sure.
with. Um, it's a cute little book, and I think you're all gonna like it. I do have to check in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Now, Chad Eros, he was in charge of the money, the donations. Now
yeah,
he's come
see,
out.
like I was told he was for Merrill Lynch. Um, that's who he worked for, and that wasn't true.
Yes, I saw
That was
that.
told to me by a little blonde. And that wasn't true. He didn't work for them. He had done things for Merrill Lynch, but he never worked for them as
Mhm,
an employee of the company. And I was like, that's kind of weird because that's an American company.
mhm.
Huh. It strike me kind of weird. But yeah, I do know Chad. And Chad is, if anything, at nauseum accurate.
Yes, yes. Oh, absolutely. And I'm really disturbed that the military and the police were involved with the Freedom Corps and the Fight Club and all these names. I know all these people, like not all of them, but I know a lot of these people that were involved in this that are trusted, and it's so disappointing and heartbreaking because I know a lot of my friends, you know, idolize these people. It's not just Tamara. There's
Yes,
a
and
lot of other people and the
those
problem
people,
is that,
I don't know if they're getting remuneration or anything, but they are literally have been turned into by Keith Wilson and Eva Chepiak and Chris Barber and Tamara Leach, because I would consider those the leaders of that group. They've literally turned that group into an online gang who targets anyone who opposes the narrative. And you can see it again. My book came out. Susan Mays, who is Diane Goff on X, has attacked me for probably 2 years now. And she wrote a review in on the book on Amazon. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? Like, you obviously haven't read the book. The things that you're saying, you haven't read the book. Why would you do that? Because now you look, people that read the book, your comments about that look like they're uneducated
yeah,
and not founded in reality.
yep,
So, but she is part of the cabal
yep,
with Chris Tamara and the lawyers. So I'm expecting more of these type of reviews.
mhm,
Amazon takes those type of reviews very, very seriously, and the more that come in, we can show that I am being review bombed. So, it is what it is. But the fact that they have to do this, they have to take me out because of my book.
yeah,
And I bet you they haven't read my book. I have read BJ's book. I've read Andrew's book. I've read Kim Kennedy's book. I've read Donna's book. I've read Tom Marazzo's book, Tom Quiggin's book, and of course mine at nauseum for editing purposes. But I mean, I've read all these books. I can tell you these people haven't recouped and read mine, right? Because they're so afraid of what's in the content. And the
yep,
content that they're afraid of isn't there.
yeah,
It isn't there.
yeah. And like I
This is
said,
the story, the baseline, the 100 years of research and knowledge and history that we all could have known had we just paid more attention. So
Yeah, they're
Get the
protecting
book.
themselves because they are criminals, and they need to
Yeah.
attack people the truth whenever they can to protect them and shield themselves from the truth. But the truth is coming out, and we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. They have to destroy me to stop me because I'm not afraid of them. You know, I
Well, at this point, after 3 years of bashing, 3 years of Chris Barber lying about me, 3 years of those lies being passed around the internet, what more can they do to
yeah.
me? I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I've heard that one before. That was in June of 2022 when that first came out. Or I've heard this. What more can you do to me? You can't do anything. And that put them in a very dangerous position. They
Hmm.
didn't realize it. They pushed till I had no need to worry about what they had to say next. And that gives me the upper hand because I'm no longer worried about it. They've trashed me so badly amongst the people that for me it's like, okay, just another rumor. Believe it or don't. How about you read the book and see how it goes? You know, so when you have nothing left to lose, you're the dangerous person, not them. They don't hold any more cards.
Hmm.
So I mean, they can continue to lie, but it doesn't matter because it has no effect anymore.
Yeah, people are starving
And
for
the
the
biggest
truth.
problem for Chris is, I used to care. I used to care what he said. I used to care what he thought. I used to care because I worked with him closely. I thought we were friends
Yeah.
and I used to care. I don't care any longer. And that again makes me far more dangerous than where I used to be. So again, consequences, it's all coming out. Inside the Freedom Convoy is a series. And the next one is already, like I said, 3 times bigger.
Yeah. And that's what from now to April, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be revealing the truth. I've got Turning Point Canada Director of Communications Dana Matt Metcalf. She's going to be on the show, and she did mention that I could be involved in their media interviews like this, I suppose. And they are looking for leaderships as well. Um, and Shane Wolf is going to be on Friday. He was 100% climate change panicked, trying to find solutions, and he did find solutions. The futureproof mybuilding.com is his thing, and he won awards and everything, but that he was going to go on CBC. Then they shut him down because he had the solutions. They don't want solutions. They want problems. And if there are solutions, the government can no longer say, "Oh, it's an end of the world. Get your COVID shot. Climate change emergency." We're sick of it. We're not going to put up with it anymore. We're here to tell the truth, and we're going to talk to people like Brigitte on a first-hand basis, first-hand knowledge. So you can hear it from the person themselves instead of rumors and from the attacks, because the government will attack the truth because their power is based on lies. It's not going to cut it anymore. We're sick and tired of it, and we are going to find solutions, but we have to unify, and we have to stick together. We have to forgive. We do have to forgive, but we don't have to turn the cheek anymore. Don't let them victimize us. We're not going to put up with it anymore. We're going to let them know we know what's in their food, and we know that the government allowed it. You know, if they allowed poison in our food, they are unfit to govern. It's really that simple, and we don't have to put up with it. And we can do it without violence, and that's kind of what Bridget wanted with the convoy. She just wanted it to be known. She didn't want to stir the pot and create problems in Ottawa, blocking streets and honking horns. She had a reasonable, mature way of making the point that needed to be made. But so let me see the comments. I think I had a question here. Someone wanted to know um, about Jane Scarf. Do you know who that is? It represented you in the public inquiry.
Yes.
What's that about?
I don't know what she wants to know about her.
The question is why did you let Jane Scarf represent you at the public inquiry? That's the question.
Well,
I don't know anything about it.
there's a story.
Okay.
There's a huge story there. So, I contacted Chris when I heard about the public emergency, and I asked him, and he goes, I said, I want to go testify, and he says, well, anybody can testify. What he failed to tell me was that his lawyers had a list with my name on it from the lawyers at the POEC that they were supposed to provide me the information for the contact for them. He failed to do that. Why? They were buying time because there was a deadline for me to be able to ask them questions. So they held on to that information until the end of July, when they actually found me on Facebook. The commission did found me on Facebook, and I got a really weird message, and I'm like, "You're messaging me on Facebook?" So I was like, this isn't real. But I reached out and I talked to them, and they're like, oh yes, no, it's very real. And I was like, okay. So I said, but I don't have a lawyer because Keith Wilson, I had reached out to John Carpe and I said, hey, I need a lawyer for this, still representing me. And that's when Keith Wilson had told me, I am not your lawyer. I will not represent you. And he said a few other nasty things. And I went, that's great, because I don't want a snake like you anyway. Um, and then, so now I talked to the commission going, I don't have a lawyer. And they're like, well, we can assign you one. The lawyer they assigned me, government lawyer, the only thing they wanted to know was what I had on Keith Wilson. And so I had to send the files, right? They said, yeah, any communication you had with Keith Wilson, send that to us. I'm like, okay, great. Thinking they're representing me. I never heard from this lawyer again. We're about a month out from the commission, about a month, maybe a month and a half. And I get a call from Dave Freedom and from Rebecca Sharp. Oh. And they're like, do you have a lawyer for the commission? I'm like, no, I got some sort of thing. And she's like, well, do you have all your files together? I'm like, files? What do you mean, files? She goes, well, you have to submit stuff. I'm like, I got a what? Yeah, no. That answer would be, no. So she's like, well, let us get Jane together with you and we'll get Jane to represent you. And I'm like, well, I don't know. What do I got to do? Apparently, I already have a lawyer I've never talked to except for one meeting. Oh, man. Who also convinced me to tell the commission that I was not going to testify, because I could be held responsible and end up in the same situation as Pat Leach and Barber. And I was like, yeah, I can't even afford to fend that off. Nobody's going to support me anyway. So I'm just going to tell them, no, I'm not going to do it. You're right. I can't do this. So I told them I wasn't. And they said, well, we're going to subpoena you. And I'm like, well, that didn't work, did it? So they had to subpoena me. I was under subpoena to go, which also meant that my testimony could be used for anyone, which I thought was great, and that it couldn't be used against me. So I also thought that was great. So my testimony is available for anybody to use in any court case. Turns out that that's probably not elite. It turns out that probably all of our testimony can, because it's right there on black and white. So, but that's what I was told, right? So it made it look so much better. And then I did talk with Jane, and I said, well, you're going to have to send me over a little letter, and I'm going to have to tell the other lawyer to go kick rocks. Didn't have to. She actually never showed up in my life again. I didn't have to fire her. She didn't show up. So could you imagine the plan was, sorry, just a minute. the plan from whoever was doing the commission or the Freedom Corp, I don't know whose plan it was to give them all the documents I had regarding Keith Wilson, was to make sure that I couldn't ask Freedom Corp questions, so I didn't have standing at the commission, and to make sure I didn't have a lawyer. That was the plan. I am the only one that didn't have a registered lawyer. I had a paralegal. Yeah.
You didn't think I was going to
So,
ask that question.
I didn't, but that was huge. And, and when I understood how important the commission was, I had to take the help I was given. And I did that. Jane, Rebecca, Freedom, Janice, I'm sorry I forgot your last name, Janice. It starts with a C. I can see it. Curry?
Janice.
Curry, I think it is. Fantastic people. They worked night and day. We put timelines together, everything we were submitted. And then at the last minute, an hour before I show up, the commission changes everything from names that I recognize to series of numbers. Ask a person that has dyslexia to look at a series of numbers and tell you what video we're looking for. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So they messed with me again. And Freedom Corp, a supporter of, called Rebecca before we went into the courtroom and basically said, Brigitte can't say this, Brigitte can't say this, don't say this, and was screaming at Rebecca. Rebecca just hung up. I was like, oh my gosh, are they really trying to get me to testify the way they want me to?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Like, where does that ever
It was
happen,
to push me, right? It was literally to push me off my kilter
Yes.
and to testify or be weary of the way I testified.
Yep.
I think in the grand scheme of things, I wasn't going to the commission to throw anybody under the bus. It was to be truthful, to tell the truth, and I wasn't going to lie for anyone.
No, and we should.
I was in a court of law. I swore on the Bible. I'm sorry. At that point,
Yeah.
if you robbed a bank, I'm going to tell somebody
Yeah.
you robbed a bank.
Yep.
Sorry.
But we're dealing with criminals, and like every show, we reveal that. That it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
festering everywhere. And just in case you didn't know, Patty is on page 67 on your book.
Do you know, Patty, before I got help from an amazing, amazing person, Patty knows the name because it was in the front of the book, Alex Novak from the U.S., who is a huge person in history and politics, met him on an actual site to help authors, and I paid him, but he helped me expand the story because I wasn't at about 66 pages when I met him, and now we exploded to what we've got now. So thank you so much, Alex Novak, for all. Rick Walker actually made sure the English language was correct and you could all read it, because God forbid if you saw the first manuscript, you'd all be like, duh, what is she trying to say? So Rick went through and made sure that theirs, and the you's and you's, and everything was correct. I have to give him 100% kudos for everything he did for me. He's great, but if you want to write a book and you think, oh, I'm dyslexic like Brigitte and I can't write a book, nah, you can write a book. You just have to pay people for the editing. It's a little more expensive than having a grasp on the English language yourself, but it's well worth it. I mean, we're at the top of the charts. We're rocking and moving. We're in the hot new release. We're trending. We were at the top of our categories, but now I get to look at Donna being up at the top there, and I was like 2 behind her at number 3. I mean, I can't ask for more. You guys are fantastic. You guys are making our grass movements known. Yep. You're making it so people will see it. Now I ask your libraries to bring it in, and let's get this into the libraries so that future generations for years to come can hear our story when we all stood up.
Yeah, and it is important that the story does come out that isn't manufactured by the enemy itself. And thank you so
or the
much.
political class or
Hmm.
those with, certain aspirations, whatever they might be.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure that we're not being funded, but we're being grassroots. Any other questions?
N-
Because I do have to get
Nope,
going in a
that's
few
it.
minutes.
I want to thank you for coming on the show, Bridget. I appreciate your time and honesty and efforts. And like I said, the book can be bought on Amazon. It's tagged on this on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, so you can find the book if you would like a copy. Um, and yes, if you get two copies, you could donate one to the library and make it accessible for everyone else. So you can even the little things can help. Because we're not going to stay buried in all the negativity. We're The truth is to set us free, and this is one way we can do that because we want to unify. We want to let people know that you do have, you're not alone. That you do have someone here on your side. So thank you, Bridget. I look forward to seeing you again. We'll have Patty. We'll have to get you on also, and I want to thank you all at home uh, for joining us today. Bridget's gone. She's got to do her things, and Mac is doing things to her pillow right from behind. I'm just, I'm just playing. He's not. He's not doing anything. Oh, he has a bear. Oh yeah, I
He
obviously.
does. Yeah, I frequently go and I'll pick up teddies from, Value Village and that because they don't last very long. This one's lasted a little bit longer, but it's got no head
I'm
anymore.
just, I'm
So,
just playing with you. This is my humor. It's blurry, so anyone can just make up stuff. Patty, we're gonna have to get
yeah,
you on.
that's his bear. Mac is over here now.
All right. Well, thank you again. It was a pleasure being able to talk to you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye now.
What a great guest, Patty. We're gonna get you on as well because I really do want to get that information out, the J Treaty, and just to help people to understand what it means for us. And that's weird. I got the music on, but I don't hear it. It's so strange. Oh, now I hear it. Um, Oh, thank you all for coming. I got Maggie Hope Braun coming on. I've got Shane Wolf. I'm really excited for that show. He built a house that's sustainable and won awards for his house. And he is going. He's going to come on and show his evidence because they shut him down because he proved it was all a scam. This climate alarmism is just another way to steal your money, steal your sovereignty, and impoverish Canadians. And not just Canadians, but in every country that they're doing this. This is definitely a worldwide situation. COVID proved that. They're all in cahoots. Doug Ford proved that he's not a conservative. And he's in love with the liberals, and that is the lies can no longer hide. They can no longer hide, and we're going to bring things out, and not to scare anyone, but just to empower you, so you know what we're dealing with. And I look forward to seeing you all again on my next show. Thanks for coming.